All right, you've heard it many times. You have the right to remain silent. If you give up that right to remain silent, anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney, one will be appointed to you if you wish one. Do you understand these rights as I have read them to you? Yes. Do you wish to proceed with me questioning you and answering my questions? Yes. Those are your Miranda rights, and a lot of people are confused by them. There's a formula, real simple formula for understanding them, and what I mean by that is a lot of you think that when a cop goes up on the street and before he puts you in handcuffs, he's got to arrest you and all this stuff. No, just so you're aware of this, because I want to educate you on this, custody plus questioning equals Miranda. So what do I mean by that? I mean that if I pull you over on a traffic stop, the basic things I can ask you are, what's your address? Where are you going? You don't have to answer a damn thing to me. Let's just say that I do a Terry stop, or I do a call for service, and somebody says somebody's walking in the neighborhood. They're wearing a black sweater and a baseball cap and jeans, and you match that description. That's all I have, right? And this person's breaking into cars. I don't have any probable cause. I don't see like a tool in your hands. I don't see broken glass by your feet. What? You're not carrying a radio if they still remove them out of cars. I don't know. I have no probable cause. My reasonable suspicion is enough to wind up detaining you. I can't ask you, are you breaking into cars today? Because if I ask you a crime or a question that's specifically related to the crime, and I didn't read you your Miranda rights and you answer, now we're looking into like fruit of the poisonous tree, where if you admit to it and go, yeah, I did it, and by the way, I murdered this guy in the process, potentially it could be all thrown out because I didn't Mirandize you. So you have to remember that if you detain someone and you ask them questions that are relevant to the investigation, they have to be read your Miranda rights. The right to remain silent, right? Now, I've been saying this for years. It blows me away the amount of police officers who will admit that they base their issuance of a traffic citation on the attitudes or words of a driver. Now, anything sans of, hey, I'm Officer Izzo with the so-and-so police department. The reason I stopped you is you were doing 35 and a 10 and a 15. And if you say, yeah, I was, okay, that could influence me. Oh, you acknowledge your behavior. I'm going to write it. But even there, what I just said, you acknowledge your behavior. Your behavior is the action. It's the action for the offense, right? But your attitude, I have no control of your attitude, nor should I, which means that I cannot base my issuance, or I should not. Cops still are allowed to. You need to pay attention to this extremely clear, because I'm tired of people sitting there saying I'm blowing something out of proportion. Ask any cop that you know, do you base your issuance of a traffic citation off of the attitude of the driver? Watch how many say, yeah, I got to correct their behavior. Listen to this video. This was me interacting with two cops, one donut. It was a great podcast we did. And I want you just to hear this conversation before we proceed.
What do you do? And what do you attribute to? I know what I attribute it to, but Chad, I'll go with you first. What would you attribute that interaction to for that officer?
I think from my perspective, and generally the perspective of what most people are going to see there, is that dude's a little bit on a power trip. He's flexing on the idea that I have a fair amount of time to hold you here, as long as I can justify and spitball some reasons why I'm sitting here. And because you pissed me off, that's what I'm going to do. I don't enjoy that. I don't like that. I'm kind of 50-50 on the why you're going to get a ticket. If I get to the door and you're talking shit already, and you've got a bad driving record, we're gonna just write a ticket, right? But if we can be decent about it,
come on, Izzo.
Why does their attitude dictate your citation issuing? Why?
I don't have a really good answer for it, to be honest.
Is it their First Amendment right?
We could have had this in a respectful manner. You're right.
Is it their First Amendment right? Do they have the First Amendment right to say, officer, you look like you fuck your mother? Do they have the right to say that?
Oh, absolutely. All day. For sure.
So this is the danger. You just admitted that on a recorded show. So now, God forbid anybody gets wind of that and you issue a citation. Everything, it's fruit of the poisonous tree. So what did you arrest that guy who killed his wife for? Well, his attitude. That's it. So it's First Amendment. And you can watch the rest of this on Two Cops, One Donuts podcast. The point of this is, I've said this for years, I used to put up in my content that same question. How often do many of you, base your issuance of traffic citation on the issuance of the issuance of a traffic citation on the attitude of the driver? Almost every cop I've ever known. Yeah. You have to remember something as a U.S. citizen. It is not the job of the American police officer to discipline or punish you. That's the courts. It's the courts. Sadly, the more that I'm looking at the content that I put up on certain social media platforms, the more that I see that the U.S., 99% of U.S. American citizens have no idea what their rights are or what the limits of police authority is. They don't get it. And they all want the same thing. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, just should have complied. Their job is to document behavior, not attitude, behavior. So if you sped, document behavior. If their actions are warrant worthy of, in your mind, to send them to court to be put in front of a judge so the judge can evaluate the situation, the scene, the incident, and then the judge apply discipline. That's it. That is it. You are supposed to remain unbiased, uphold the Constitution. The standards of your department hopefully are higher than shit. The laws of your state, and that's it. I posted this today, and I told you, I'm not here to make any fucking friends whatsoever. I'm not going to, and I'm going to lose friends over this, and I don't care because we're in a very dangerous time in America. Well, I posted this yesterday. This was in connection to the Tyreek Hill traffic stop and how people just, they do not like the attitude of Tyreek Hill. If you watch that, I've done 2 breakdowns of that video so far. I have no problem with what he did. He could be a jagoff. He handed the driver's license, go issue this, go do what you got to do. Done. The cops should have written the ticket and then been on with their way. But because America loves their thin blue line to be the power tripping fucking thugs that they think they are, that's not good enough. You better bend the knee, lick the boot, and all cops are owed respect. This is the foundation of America's fundamental problem with law enforcement. You show me where it said that when I swore to that oath, when I put that badge and pinned it right on my chest, that motherfucker, you better respect me above all. Where is that at? I want to know, because I never got that memo. And I knew what I signed up for. I posted this online. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to lose a fucking friend here. I don't care, because I'm outraged that we still have this fucking problem in America. And I would rather lose fucking friends and connections than I would ignore a problem. I put up online, if pulled over by the police, say nothing at all times. Hand over your documents immediately. Keep the window lowered to your desired height. Crack it is fine. I would lower it that much just so you can communicate. Hand the documents. If ordered, if they say get out of the car, get out of the fucking car. Do not, under any circumstances, answer any of their questions, nor voluntarily offer any information at the time. Keep your fucking mouth shut. Keep your fucking mouth shut. Now that's Fifth Amendment, right? Protection against self-incrimination. It's in the Miranda warnings. Now you are seized when a traffic stop is initiated. You're not free to leave. They're doing a criminal investigation. Technically, I think I was educated years ago that even technically a traffic citation issuance would be considered an arrest. It's a criminal charge, right? You still go before court. It's technically an arrest. You have the right to remain silent is the very first thing we say, right? I'll tell you flat out. I don't think that any human being who ever drinks and drives today with Uber and Lyft and taxis and your family, I don't think you have value at all as a human being. And I think that driving under the influence of alcohol should be a death penalty sentence. I really do. I think that if you're caught driving drunk, you should have your civil forfeiture. I think your house should be taken away from you. That's how much I have contempt for those who drink and drive. You are useless human beings. But DUIs are designed, the more information you give the cops, the more you are fucked. And some of you are just so drunk you talk your asses off. I only had 2 drinks. You just acknowledged. Subject admitted he had 2 drinks, right? But remember, go back to the formula of what I said. Questioning plus custody equals Miranda. You still have the right to remain silent. You're pulled over on a stop. I'm Officer Izzo with the so-and-so police department. License and insurance, please. Reason I stopped you today is you were speeding. You were doing 50 and a 30. Is there any reason for that? You do not have to answer me. You answer me, well, I was late. You acknowledged it, right? So I'm going to base my citation off of your acknowledgement of something? Sure, I could, because it's on body camera then, it's on squad car camera. You're being audio, video recorded because lawfully we have to tell you, all that stuff. Yeah, I'm Officer Izzo with the so-and-so police department. Reason I caught you today, man, you were doing 50 and a 30. What's up with that? Go fuck your mother. Free speech. Free speech. If I issue my traffic citation on there, am I acknowledging that it was personal? Just like we talked about in the Tyreek Hill stop. It was personal. This blows me away. This absolutely blows me away. I look down, and of all people, this is a man named Bill Caponegro. I know him personally. He is a great guy, and this is his statement. I've been a cop for 30 years. The kinder, more responsive and respectful you are, the less likely you'll receive a citation. So number one, we have it right there. Bow down to us. Fucking show me respect, and maybe I'll give you a warning. Okay, let's continue. The silent treatment, which he says here, will only increase your chances of receiving a ticket, unless, of course, your DUI. And Bill, if you wrote reports, this is ridiculous. It should be unless, of course, comma, of course, comma, your Y-O apostrophe R-E, your DUI. In that case, shut your pie hole. This is the chief of police for Prospect Heights, Illinois. Busy town. Great cops. I knew a bunch of them. And I don't give a fuck what they think of me at this point. This man was a fantastic patrol officer, so I thought. Spent 30 years in law enforcement and was righteously appointed a chief of police. Great appointment. Until I see this today. Until I see a chief of police who has massive influence over the hiring process, over the training, over the morale of the department, acknowledging if you are silent on a traffic stop, your right to remain silent, you increase your chances of receiving a ticket. It's all in fucking black and white. The silent treatment will only increase your chances of receiving a ticket. It's not a fake profile. This is his. This is his. I don't understand this. Somebody needs to help me out. And if this is not the case, I will come to your department and kiss your ass in front of every fucking officer. And we can record it and put it on this channel. Explain to me how the American citizen owes you, me, any fucking cop, the respect out there arbitrarily just because what? And we know some of the shitbags that you worked with. How many DUIs should they have had where the bar that they went to, that they drank their asses off with their pistols on them and drove home because they knew they could? Are you willing to talk about all your coworkers who did that? Are you willing to expose the men and women that you worked with who used to fucking bring in underage fucking girls to the bar that knew they weren't 21 yet? Do you want to talk about that, Bill? I told you, I am not about to fucking make any allies in law enforcement because this entire fucking system is corrupt. But you're going to admit that with the power and the authority you have and the influence you have over your department, that you acknowledge, is this how you train your staff, your subordinates, your officers? If they're silent, write them a ticket. How? It has to be apparent right now that the American police officer are not the friends of the citizens of the United States. They are revenue generators. They are insecure, power-hungry fucking boys and girls who just because they can, they do. That's it. There is no integrity in law enforcement. As chief of police of a town that has traffic flow and criminal activity from both Chicago and Milwaukee, acknowledges, if you say nothing to the police, we will punish you. This is not only outrageous, it's fucking heartbreaking. When I read this today, I got emotional. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And again, if this is the law and how it works and courts uphold this shit, our country is fucked. Our country is fucked. If I'm wrong in any way, if the Constitution shows me that, man, you could be silent and you know what? The cop has every right to fucking punish you with that traffic ticket. I'll come down. You drop your drawers. I will pucker up, spread your cheeks, and I will bury my face in your fucking asshole in front of all your fucking officers to show how wrong I am. This is America. This is where we are. I don't know anymore. I don't know what more proof that we need that the police are not on the side of the American people and they get away with some of the most heinous fucking actions on the planet just because they can. And the lack of knowledge that the American citizen has proves it and supports that. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. He just should have complied. Well, normal human beings, fuck you then. Fuck you. Why are you not complying with your government? Why do half of you during things like lockdowns comply or not comply, refuse? I'm blown away. I'm speechless right now. I'm utterly speechless for the American public who supports this thin blue line and cannot see that it's right in front of them with the simplest of conversations. They don't support you. They don't support you. I don't know. I'm flabbergasted today. I'm unbelievably stressed at this because a fucking man of integrity who is in a position of chief of police cavalierly admits that if you are silent on a traffic stop, that is taken as disrespect to the police and fuck you, we will punish you. If cops raise their standards and if cops proved they're servants of the American citizen and if cops prove they had integrity, when it comes down time to issue citations, to initiate an arrest, effect an arrest, to apply righteous use of force, deadly use of force, you would be so easy to back up and support. Fuck the thin blue line. Right now, the entire system it's no longer a few bad apples. It is a rotten orchard. And until every cop comes to the table and says, we're part of a broken fucking system and we have to do better, the entire system is corrupt.